Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time it is, wherever in this vast universe you may or may not happen to be. Welcome once more to another live stream of Alexandra Mayers Live, page by page reading and commentary of the modern English version of the Bible. So today we're going to go back into the book of Judges, chapter 19, which is titled A Levite and His Concubine. But before we get started, um, I'm just going to, on a personal note, update all of you as to how I'm doing. I'm doing great. I slept really well last night. I'll tell you, since I have been in this area of the desert in the I guess you would call it the southwest quadrant of the United States, I have slept so well. Maybe because it's quiet, maybe because there's less light pollution and just like waves from various electronics and whatnot. I think I might be a little bit more sensitive to that sort of a thing than I may have realized. I think so. The air quality here is really good. I'm probably going to settle in this area of the country. I have a feeling about that. I've been doing a little research as to how I could go about doing that lately. Mainly this year, I just got to get through the holidays. This is going to be a little bit of a hard holiday for me because it's going to be my first holiday season really without the presence of my dad, but I will get through it. But next year, I think I'm going to start looking into being out in this area permanently because I feel good. I feel really good out here. I feel healthier than I felt in a really long time. Not to say I felt unhealthy before, but it just kind of amplified. I like that it's always sunny here. Actually, the past couple of days, for the first time since I've been here, because I've been here over a month now, it was a little overcast and rainy. But we're back to sunshine again today, which is great. What else? I think later today I'm going to record a song that I wrote called God's Strong Chosen. It's kind of a rock, um, metal kind of song. You probably wouldn't think that would come out of me, but it did. And on Sunday, I complete the series that I put together with a really, really special guy known as Psyche Awakens. You can see parts 1 and 2 over on the live tab of this channel. It's nice to learn about different forms of spirituality that I may not adhere to, but to learn in depth about things from someone as knowledgeable as he is, that's so much fun for me. So I've been having a really good time with that. I got to edit episodes 1 and 2 because I want to compile all 3 episodes together, and then I want to give him the segmented episodes, not segmented, but the episodes as individual videos. That way he has original content for his channel. So I've been busy. Plus, on top of that, I got my regular work and everything. So overall, I'm doing good. I'm doing very well. This morning when I woke up, I felt very at peace, which is nice. Normally, I don't feel like this, so that means I'm healing. Physically, I've healed up pretty well. Um, the skin on my arm pretty much has grown back from the scrapes. I had a bruise on my knee, which healed up. I also discovered like a week after that e-scooter accident that I had a bruise on my right side on my torso. but I don't even feel that anymore. I guess it was really minor. Um, I'm really fortunate that I didn't break any bones in my face. The right side of my face is still, there's a tiny little part that's still a little sore, but man, am I fortunate with that. So, yeah, let's go ahead and get into the book of Judges, chapter 19. And then I'm going to get on with my day, and I hope that all of you get on with your day too. And I hope you all have a great day. So this should be interesting. It's about a Levite and his concubine. So this is the same Levite who was living with this guy Micah, I'm assuming. So now we're going to learn his story with his concubine. Before I even get into this, I am going to say something. I'm under the impression that you would not have Christianity at all if it were not for the various concubines, prostitutes, mistresses, dare I say, sex workers over the years. I'm not saying a mistress is necessarily a sex worker, not always, but people are so, especially angry women who are miserable, are so hard on sex workers or women who live unconventional lives. And if it wasn't for such women, there's a lot of things in society you would not have. So I just make a point to avoid such women, and I also make a point to avoid such men who are very judgmental. Going forward in my life, I am not even acknowledging such people. And I live a pretty straight-laced life nowadays, but I didn't always. A Levite and his concubine. In those days, when there was no king in Israel, there was a certain Levite living as a resident foreigner in a remote part of the hill country of Ephraim. He took a concubine for himself from Bethlehem in Judah. Yet his concubine became angry with him and went away from him to her father's house at Bethlehem in Judah. She was there for 4 months. Her husband got up and went after her in order to speak tenderly to her and bring her back. His servant and 2 donkeys were with him. When he came to her father's house, the girl's father saw him and was happy to meet with him. His father-in-law, the girl's father, prevailed upon him to stay with him for 3 days. So they ate and drank and spent the night there. On the 4th day, they woke up early in the morning. He got ready to go, but the girl's father said to his son-in-law, "Strengthen yourself with a little food, and then you can go." So the two of them sat down to eat and drink together. Then the girl's father said to the man, "Please spend the night and let your heart be merry." The man got up to go, but his father-in-law urged him until he turned back and spent the night there. He got up early in the morning on the 5th day to go. The girl's father said, "Please strengthen yourself and wait until later in the day." So the two of them ate. Then the man got up to go, he, his concubine, and his servant. His father-in-law, the girl's father, said to him, "Behold, now the day draws toward the evening. Please spend the night. Behold, the day is ending. Lodge here and let your heart be merry. And you can get up early tomorrow so that you may go home." This guy does not want to let this guy go. Yet the man did not want to spend the night, so he got up and left and approached Jebus, that is Jerusalem. 2 saddled donkeys and his concubine were with him. When they were near Jebus, It was getting very late. The servant said to his master, "Come, let's turn aside this Jebusite city and spend the night in it." His master said to him, "We must not turn aside to a city of foreigners who are not Israelites. We will continue on to Gibeah." He said to his servant, "Come, let us go to one of these places. We will spend the night in Gibeah or Ramah." So they continued and went on. The sun went down when they were near Gibeah in Benjamin. So they turned aside there to go and spend the night in Gibeah. They went in and sat in the city square, but no one took them in to spend the night. That's interesting. So in those times, instead of like, I guess in some places, I'm sure it was different other places, instead of, approaching a hotel or a motel or an inn or a rooming house, whatever you would have back then, you had to just kind of sit in the city square, hope that someone needs, some extra resources or something, and someone's like, "Hey, okay, you can come sleep at my house." You have to kind of put yourself up for adoption. Ugh, what a hard time to live in. And behold, an old man came in at evening time from his work in the field. The man was from the hill country of Ephraim and lived as a resident foreigner in Gibeah, but the townspeople were Benjamites. He looked up and saw the traveler in the city square. The old man said, "Where are you going, and where do you come from?" He said, "We are traveling from Bethlehem in Judah to a remote part of the hill country of Ephraim. I am from there. I went to Bethlehem in Judah, and now I am going to the house of the Lord. No one has taken me into his home. Yet there is enough straw and fodder for our donkeys, with bread and wine for me, your maidservant, and the young man who is with your servant. We do not lack anything." The old man said, "Do not worry. I will take care of whatever you need. Just do not spend the night in the city square." So, in other words, the old man decided to help this person. There's someone in my chat who, um, I'm not going to be mean to you because you're a Beatus friend, but you have been mean to someone who I've become friendly acquaintances with lately, and you know who that is. So I'm not going to kick you. What I am going to do is time you out. I don't want people to think that they can communicate with me, but then be rude or mistreat people that I'm especially openly and publicly good with or kind to or friendly with. I don't like that. I don't even like that people think that I would be okay with being receptive to that, really. So, I would say that you're Beta's friend, and you should cultivate that friendship. You don't really know me, and truthfully, Bronzebird, I do not think you're compatible with me in the least, in any way, shape, or form. Okay, so anyway, the old man brought in the traveler, brought in the Levite who's been on the road. The Levite was like, "Hey, I have means," and the old man was like, "Oh, don't worry about it." The old man probably wanted company anyway. So he brought him into his house and gave food to his donkeys. They washed their feet, ate, and drank. And see, now I know that you have no respect for boundaries. I have to pause this Bible reading, and I do want this to be a lesson for people who might watch me for the right or the wrong reasons. You have to respect people's boundaries in life. You do have to, like, if somebody says, go in peace, go! Don't try to come back and say something else if the person already cut the communication. And I really don't like when men, especially, breach that level of boundary with women. It's a trait of a rapist. It really is. Because what is rape? Forcefully breaching boundaries. And I don't think rape can just be sexual. I think it can be like through communication also. And then on top of that, I'm doing my spiritual reading today. You know, if you have drama or issues that's not related to like the topic at hand, keep it to yourself. Like, do you have so little of a life, so little of, anything going on, that in the middle of my Bible reading, you have to come in and bother me? Not cool. Not cool. Not at all. I don't like that. I can understand why you don't like him, Bronzebird, because he's a lot more evolved than you are. And you know it. You're jealous of that person. You need to work on yourself. Anyway, let's keep going. So the old man, is helping out the Levite and whatnot. As they were making their hearts merry, behold, the men of the city, who were wicked men, surrounded the house and pounded on the door. They said to the old man, the master of the house, bring out the man who came to your house so we can have relations with him. Whoa, this reminds me of the Sodom and Gomorrah story. The master of the house went out to them and said, no, my brothers, do not commit this evil act. Not after this man has come into my house. Do not commit this disgrace. Behold, here are my virgin daughter and his concubine. Let me bring them out to you. Ravish them and do what you will please, but do not commit this vile act against this man. Ooh, well, that's interesting. I feel bad for his daughter and the concubine. Why is he willing to give over the concubine, but not the dude? But then again, we don't really know what was going on. We don't know what was going on with his daughter. We don't know what was going on with the concubine. We don't know, who these guys were. Oh my gosh. Mm. The men were unwilling to listen to him. So the man seized his concubine and brought her out to them in the street. They knew her and had abused her all night until morning. Oh, this is horrible. I don't like reading this. As the dawn began to break, they let her go. The woman came back at daybreak and fell down at the door of the man's house where her master was, lying there until it was light. Poor girl. Her master got up in the morning and opened the doors of the house. He went out to go on his way, and behold, there was the woman, his concubine, fallen at the door of the house, with her hands on the threshold. He said to her, get up, let us be going, but there was no answer. So the man put her on a donkey and went home. When he got home, he took a knife and seized his concubine, then cut her body into 12 pieces. Then he sent her throughout all the territory of Israel. Everyone who saw this said, nothing like this has been done or seen since the day the Israelites came out of the land of Egypt until today. Consider it, take counsel, and speak up. Oh, that was gruesome at the end. Poor girl got assaulted, raped, no one helped her. Mm. Maybe that's why we don't hear about the book of Judges very much. A lot goes on in this book. A lot went on in the Bible that was just terrible. But terrible things are still going on today. I mean, look, I was trying to do my Bible reading today and I got interrupted by somebody who's so self-centered that they prioritized their personal pointless drama over the spiritual message of today. But maybe that was a part of the spiritual message, that a lot of things haven't changed. A lot of people are still very self-centered and selfish. I'll tell you, one thing I really am going to work on doing as I get into my older years, I'm opening a really good spiritual-based women's shelter, specifically for women with small kids who need to get away from really bad guys. That is what I'm going to do. Because I don't think there's enough good safe havens for women who need help. And this world is rough. And I thought guys were getting better. I guess some guys are getting better, but a lot of guys are getting worse when it comes to their treatment of women. And I mean, you know, say what you will, but for the most part, women, we're not as strong as men. I think we're strong in some ways, maybe stronger in some ways, but in other ways we're not. And men are supposed to look out for women. They're not supposed to exploit us and hurt us and stuff. That's why I wish that a whole bunch of guys who are better guys, maybe from like another planet or dimension, would come here and just do away with the rotten men who are not suitable anymore in this reality. Not all men, but there's a lot who have a lot of problems. Anyway, I better get going. Thanks for listening. Have a great day. Tomorrow we'll go into the book of Judges, chapter 20. Bye-bye.